just ignore the lash situation for now. Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back to watch another video. Today's video is a continuation of the last video. This is the makeup I had in my previous video. Like at the end, this was a makeup look that I had, and I'm just going straight ahead to apply my foundation. I mean, this is a normal routine that I do. And then what you want to do is that you don't want to drag your foundation with your brush. You just want you just want to pat that on your skin. I mean, unconsciously you can drag, but then when you come back to being conscious of what you're doing, then you just want to pat it, because sometimes when you're doing your makeup, your mind might be somewhere. Yes. Now straight to the eye look. I'm applying my NYX Jumbo Pencil in the shade Milk. Now this is going to serve as a base for my eyeshadow. It's going to make the color stand out very, very well. So after that, what I'm doing is that I'm blending the outer parts of the base to make it look a bit uniform. Then I'm going in with a fluffy brush, and I'm going to use that to apply my transition color. Now I'm using the Juvia's Play Saharan palette, and I'm taking the red shade there, and I'm applying, not red, it's like close to my skin tone but has a bit of reddish tone to it. So I'm using that to blend the outer part of the eyeshadow base. So that is what I'm doing. I'm going to do that for both sides of the eye, and yeah. I don't know, for some reason the pigment is not really showing as much as I wanted it to show, but I'm trying my best to pack that on my lid so that it shows a bit more. Then I'm going in with this Focallure eyeshadow palette, and I'm using this red tone, and you guys can see the intensity of the pigment as compared to the one I used earlier. So yes, this is the reddish tone. I'm going to leave everything in a description box, the name of the palette, the color and everything, so that if you want to recreate it, it's going to be easy for you. So I'm applying the red eyeshadow a bit lower than where I apply the transition color. And I'm using this darker red to intensify my crease color, together with a more denser brush, so that I can concentrate on that specific area. Then I'm going to use a very dark shade. It looks like brown, but it has a reddish undertone, and I'm going to also layer that on top of what I'd already done. I'm also going to use that to intensify the crease color to create definition and depth in my eyes. So using the same brush I used earlier, the previous shade that I used, I'm using the same brush, and you can see that this has started giving my eyes some definition, some depth. You can see. Going back to the Saharan palette by Juvia's Place, I'm taking the very dark shade, is the black color, and I'm going to use that to intensify the outer V portion of my eyes. That is going to be the darkest shade. I'm going to use the black shade to give my eyes that intense depth that we are looking for in this look. So what I'm doing is that I start from the outer part of my eyes and I work my way through the inner portion. So if you can, if you notice, majority of the product is at the outer V, and then I brush, I work my way through the inner part. Now I'm using the same NYX Jumbo Pencil in the shade milk to cut my crease. Now you want to do this process as patient, not as patient, like as steady as possible, because you don't want to mess things up, because if the eyeshadow base should go over where you want it to be, it might create some sort of mess. So you want to take your time and then do it so that it becomes nice. Then what I'm doing now is that I'm blending everything together. So with the very first shade, so the first and second shade that I used when I started doing this the eye makeup, that is what I'm using to blend everything together. And I'm going in to use the last but one shade, the dark red, to kind of blend the outer V. Yes, the shadows at the outer V. So I'm blending the eyeshadow look. So I'm like merging everything together, the base and then the eyeshadow look at the end of my eyes, so that everything looks so seamless and you can't see any demarcation. That is the main purpose of blending your eyeshadow, so that you don't see any like straight line that demarcates the colors, like that separates the colors. So now I'm going to use these two shimmer shades. The one has like a green, sort of green undertone, and one has a blue undertone. So I'm going to mix the two of them together. Not like mix it before applying, but like apply one and then apply the other on top of it. So that is what I'm doing, and I started using my fingers to apply the colors, but then when I got to delicate areas, I had to use a brush because my fingers were too big for some parts of my eyes. So you have to look at your eyes and then go in with any tool that will make the application easier and somewhat neater. So now I'm using the brush to apply the shimmer shade in the inner corners of my eyes because my fingers were too big for that area. So with my finger, like another finger, I'm using the blue shade. I'm applying that over the first shade that I applied. I'm going to leave everything in the description box, so please check that so that you can, if you want to increase the look, you can follow the names, the shade names. Yeah, the shade names. And then I'm using the same dark shade to blend everything together at the V, and I'm extending that into the crease, a bit more into the inner corner of the crease, so that it creates that definition and that depth that will give the eyeshadow that pop. Yeah, the eyeshadow look that pop. So that's what I'm doing. Now I'm using a bigger brush to blend everything together, especially at the top part of my eyes. Then I'm going to take a bit of the red I used initially, like the very first red I used from the Focallure palette, and I'm using that to blend everything together so that it looks like seamless. I'm using a pointed brush to then again smoke the lower part of my eyes with the darkest shade that I used on my lids. I'm going to use this glitter liner to intensify the look. I got this thing on the market. I was actually passing by and a lady called me to come and test out her product. So yes, and I think I like it. It dries really hard. That is what I don't like about it. It dries a bit hard. So yeah. Okay, so now I'm applying my NYC liquid liner. Now this color or shade is not in black, it's in, is it crystallized black or pearlized black? I'm not so sure. I'm going to leave it in the description box as well, but it's a bit lighter. It's lighter than black, but it has a bit of glitters in there. So if you are buying NYC eyeliner, you should just opt for the color black, because anything other than black, like what I got, it's cute, it's nice and everything, but it's not that black. This, and when I'm applying my wing line, I don't go in one stroke or two strokes and I'm done. I take my time and I perfect it gradually to my taste. So that is what I'm doing. After that, I'm applying some mascara on my natural lashes to prepare it for the falsies. Now I'm using my LA Girl Pro concealer in the shade Toffee, and I'm using that to highlight the highest part of my face, which is under my eyes, my chin, down the bridge of my nose, and then my forehead. Now what I'm doing is I'm trying to bring the concealer closer to my nose as possible to give it that sharp look. I'll say is that LA Girl Pro concealer dries very fast, so if you are a beginner or you can't work really fast, I would suggest that you work on one side, you blend that out or you blend it in, and then you go to the next side, because if you leave it on for a very long time, it's going to be difficult for you to blend out your concealer. I'm using this blending brush from Real Techniques to blend my concealer in. You see, I'm not dragging, I'm just tapping it inside. Hey, I'm dragging. Ideally, I'm not supposed to drag, you're supposed to just tap it inside so that it goes into your skin. You get it? Yeah. If you have a very small brush, you can use that for the smallest portions, like the smallest parts of your face, because sometimes it's difficult for you to use a bigger brush to do the blending. But if you've been doing it for a very long time, you would know how to work your way around it. After applying just the highlight, you can see that even though I have not applied any form of contour on my face, you can see that the structure of my face is already showing. You can see the parts that light hits, that is the highlighted part, and you can see the parts that light doesn't hit, so you can tell. So I'm using a shade that is a bit closer to my skin tone to contour. I didn't want to do any harsh contour, I just wanted to have that bronzy feel around the perimeter of my face, like around the hollows of my face where like where it recedes. So now I'm going to contour my nose with the same darker foundation that is a shade darker than my skin tone. And I try to blend out the highlighter around my chin area so that it doesn't create any demarcation. And then I'm going to use my Sacha Buttercup setting powder to set the places where I highlighted. I'm not going to bake in today's video. I'm just trying to use the powder to set those areas, and I'll leave it for a couple of minutes, like 1 or 2 minutes, and just swipe it off. What I'm doing now is I'm doing reverse contour. I'm trying to highlight the cheekbone area, so I'm doing that right under the contour. I'm using the powder to create a reverse contour. Now I'm blending everything together so that there is no harsh line or demarcation. Then I'll go straight to use my setting powder to set everything together. I'm using my Covergirl bronzer in the shade Ebony to bronze my face, and I'm also using that to set my contour so that there is no creasing. So I'm setting my contour and bronzing my face at the same time. I'm using this e.l.f. blush. This is the creamy one. I don't have the powder one yet, so I'm using the creamy one too. I mean, it does the same job, but this one requires a little bit of blending, otherwise it's going to create like a muddy look. So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to blend this in. I'm using this Makeup Revolution highlighter. I'm going to leave the name in the description box. This wasn't giving me the glow that I wanted. So I went in to use this Colourpop highlighter on top of the Makeup Revolution, and I was okay with how it turned out. Now, because I have textured skin, I don't OD on my highlighter, because if I do that, it's going to bring out the textures even more. So I'm going down the bridge of my nose with the Colourpop highlighter, just a little bit to give me that pop that I want. I'm using the same lip pencil that I use for my eyebrows. Now I like this shade because it complements my skin very well, and then it makes my lipstick not look so ashy. I applied a little too much of the lipstick, so I went in to use a regular tissue to tap it and remove off the excess that I didn't want. And then I'm using my lip gloss to top it up. Now the lip gloss too, I OD'd on a lip gloss, so I went ahead to use the tissue to kind of tap off the excess once again. Now this is a tip: if you OD on your product, you just use a tissue and then tap it off and you're good to go. Now I'm applying my false lashes. Well, this is the end of this video. Don't forget to watch the previous video, that is the natural hair video, on how I got this hair look of this makeup look. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Let me know if you guys want me to create more, you know, eyeshadow looks. I'll be very happy to create them. And yes, if you decide to subscribe too, I'll be very grateful. So yeah, I'll see you very soon in my next video.